But the second reason, that kind of proved the point I wanted to make about moonwalking, about lecturing, which is that most of the time, the last 20 minutes of any lecture is a complete and total waste of time. You see, I'm a pedagogue, and I moonwalked because I'm a pedagogue. I remember when I told my mum that I was a pedagogue, she was just devastated. Well, she said, looks like I'm never going to have grandchildren then. I was a bit puzzled. I said, well, why do you think me being a pedagogue is going to stop you having grandchildren? I don't, she said. It's just that I can't imagine why anyone would ever want to have sex with you. I can't imagine why anyone would ever want to have sex with me. At least that's what it feels like to be a mathematician now. Although, to be fair, I like mathematicians. I think mathematicians are great people. There's nowhere I would rather be than in a room full of mathematicians. I don't think there's anywhere safer than in a room full of mathematicians. You're never going to get a suicide bomber, are you? In a room full of mathematicians. In a room full of mathematicians, you get to see what those 72 virgins are really going to look like. But back to teaching. There is a body of evidence that suggests that standing up in front of a group of students and talking at them for 60 minutes is a really, really lousy way for anyone to learn. And to prove this point, I thought I would make up some statistics just for this afternoon. Did you know that 78%, more than 3 in 4 sociology students, want their lectures to last no more than 30 minutes? And that compares to mechanical engineering students, where 84% of them don't want their lectures to last for more than 30 minutes. 92% of biological science students say that they lose concentration after 26 minutes in a lecture, and 100% of media study students in new universities didn't understand the question they were asked. See, I think the problem is that lectures are very passive experiences. Here's my view, is you're not going to lose weight by going to the gym and just watching people on exercise bikes. I know that, I've tried it several times. You're not going to learn how to make love to a beautiful woman by watching hours after hour of internet pornography. And like many mathematicians, I've tried that one as well. And your average 19-year-old is going to learn absolutely nothing by listening to a fat, middle-aged academic like me. And yet it still happens. Anyone here who's been to university in the last 100 years will be familiar with the lecture. I was at university in Wales in the 1980s. Just a point of reference, being at university in Wales in the 1980s was exactly the same as being at university in England in the 1970s. I suspect very similar to being at university in Scotland right now. 30 years later, and I see my students having exactly the same kind of experience as I had, albeit that now and then we just vomit a little bit of PowerPoint on them. First 20 minutes, that's absolutely fine. You'll talk, students will hear, occasionally they may learn, but after 20 minutes, no matter how erudite you are, no matter how articulate you are in your explanation of theory, all the students are going to hear is blah, 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 blah. You'll lose their attention. Their concentration will go. And once you have lost their attention, once their concentration is gone, you're never going to get it back. Remember, I know this because I moonwalked in a lecture. I'm just looking at this. Do I look like a fucking moonwalker? But we still do it, good people of Edinburgh. Why do we still do it? My theory is that we still do it simply because, as academics, we can't think of anything else to do, and we don't have time to do anything else. What my proper research shows is that to become good at doing something takes around about 10,000 hours of practice. In teaching terms, that means you're not really going to be any good at teaching until you've done it for around about a decade. And I don't know many academics who are going to devote a decade to it because the rewards are not that great. In footballing terms, 10,000 hours, this decade of work, will make you good, but it won't make you Lionel Messi good. 10,000 hours won't even make you as gay as as good as Cristiano Ronaldo. The best you can hope for, 10,000 hours, a decade of work, is that you become as good as Gary Neville. And I've yet to come across an academic who's going to devote 10 years of their life just so they can become a Weasley face of the twat from Manchester. Instead, when we teach, we simply teach in the same way that we were taught, because academics don't like change. I remember when I first, I'm as guilty of that as anyone. I'll give you an example. I remember when I first started dating the girl who would end up being my wife, we did the same thing for our first 8 dates. Our first date seemed to go fantastically well, so I said, well, let's do the same thing again. And we did that on the second date. It seemed to go well. Third date, it seemed to go well. After 8 dates, she put her foot down and said, no, I want to do something different. And so we went to the cinema. We went to see the first of, I guess, the modern Batman films, the one with Michael Keaton playing Batman. And that was the start of our relationship. Our first 8 dates were exactly the same, and then we went to the cinema. We did dinner, Batman. Thank you.